The Kristallnacht made me realize that the urgency that I had to leave Germany because we were no longer wanted and our life was not safe anymore. I was living in Erfurt and I started learning because we thought we knew in the Hitler period that we have to learn a trade for emigrating from most Jews, usually academics or professional. So I was interested to become a mechanic.
My name is Jaku. I was born in a city called Leipzig in Germany. I was from a very large family. We lived in a beautiful big house. In 1933, I was in a school called Leibniz Gymnasium, a wonderful school. 2,900 pupils, one Jew, 80. And I was kicked out.
At the turn of the century, my maternal grandfather came from Krakow in Poland to Germany with his first baby, my mother, because he wanted to raise his family in a civilized society.
And I made the biggest mistake of my young life. I wanted to surprise my parents. I go home. On the 9th of November, I didn't tell my parents on the phone that I'm coming home. I wanted to surprise them. For me, it was important to see again my parents. You have no idea what that means to be alone in a surrounding of Nazis, enemies in my country.
It was very quiet in the street. When I got to school, the doors were open, the books were in the street, and there was nobody there. And I couldn't make it out. I was very puzzled and frightened. So I turned around and very gingerly, without running or showing my internal panic, I went back home and I told them what I'd found at school, and my father immediately gathered us in the living room and said, "We have to leave here. We're going to go to the Polish consulate to take cover, and if we are caught in any way, any of us or all of us, we're not denying that we're Jewish. We're not going to pretend in any way we're proud of what we are." And I thought, well, if he can trust me, I'm prepared to die with the others.
On November the 9th, in the middle of the night, somebody knocked at the door. They were looking for my father, and my father was not at home. When they came to my home, they took me instead.
At 5 o'clock on the 10th of November, my nightmare starts. 10 of the Nazis broke in the door of our house, and I swear to you, they bashed me to pieces. I said, "Eddie, this is your last day." My pyjama was full of blood, and one took out his bayonet, cut off my left sleeve of my pyjama, and started to engrave a swastika in my left arm. When the blood was running down on my arm and my little dog saw the blood, he jumped on him. I don't know if he bit him or he just scared him. He let me go, put the bayonet on his rifle, and killed my dog, shouting, "Ein Judenhund."
And my mother took my hand and kept walking, and then we saw a taxi being overturned with the wheels in the air, and they were dragging an old man out of it with a beard and beating him with their boots. And my mother said, "Just keep walking," and we kept walking, and then there was a smell of smoke, and we were passing the synagogue and it was on fire, and we kept walking, and the crowd was getting thicker and thicker, and the smoke was terrifying. And finally we came to the worst crowd of all, and they were surrounding the Polish consulate. And as the gate closed behind me, I fainted.
When we got to Buchenwald, they did say we're going to be in an hour you don't live anymore. And when we arrived there, it was nighttime, and morning hall was where all the prisoners were, was all floodlit. It looked like an execution scene, and that's when I realized, I think that's it. But I did not feel, I didn't cry, or my mind just went blank.
And in Buchenwald, it was only men. And some mornings they opened the gates, and maybe 200, 300 would go out, and when they are 50 or 60 meters, they shot them in the back.
My mother wouldn't leave until we were safe. And also, she wanted to stay behind in case my father came out of concentration camp again and needed her. So she sacrificed herself for us all, which has been a great guilt for me, that I had to do something worthwhile with my life to justify her.
When the number was put on my arm later on, I was condemned to die a slow death. And all the survivors, I wished I could help every survivor to live the life like I live, happy despite that we have suffered. We have to teach the children and the adults that we have to look after the people next to us and far beyond. It is important to learn from the past. So maybe, I say maybe, we can change the future.